I don't think AI agents should run your Shopify store, but we have been building agent workflows that have completely changed the way we do business as an e-com brand, and we've done it all with the case study for our D2C supplement brand. These are the 3 workflows I would automatically build if I was starting a brand over. The first workflow, and arguably the most important, is going to be the content signal machine. Now, it's essentially the backbone to a lot of the other workflows that you can build out. It's very important that you get this down correctly. And the ultimate goal for this is to continually, in an automated format, mine pain points, brand persona, audience personas, hot topics around either your industry or around your product. And what this is going to ultimately do is not necessarily the brainstorming for your brand, but it's going to give tangible, valuable information on what's going on out there through Reddit, through TikTok, through Facebook, you name it. Posts that are being made about opinions that people have on hopefully what your brand is going to be a solution for. It's going to essentially build out source lines, which is where it's coming from. Then it's going to go into angle banks, because for meta ads, you really want to be targeting angles for all of your pages that you're sending your audience to. It's really the name of the game here. Post scripts, if you're doing organic content, or if you're using this for affiliate marketing and you're giving your affiliates and all your creators swipe files of what's working, this is going to help that. And then of course, the performance readback. And essentially, you're just going to repeat after that. And what the performance readback really does is just evaluates what was done. And then when you put it into action by however you're going to use it for, like I said, meta ads, for your influencers, for your landing pages, any type of content that you're using this data, these references for, you want to make sure you have a performance readback going into this workflow, because it's going to be very critical that we know what's working, what's not working. On paper, there's a lot of times I look at pain points, things people are complaining about on Reddit, and I'm like, oh man, we got to start driving that as an angle for meta ads, and it just doesn't work. And because of that, we want to make sure we mine performance, so we train these agents on what to look for in the future. What we did with this brand right here for No Stranger is people were complaining that no matter what, they could not gain muscle. They were struggling with things, and I dealt with it my own self. So I did a lot of research, and you started to find that cortisol has real clinical information relating to muscle fatigue. Muscle is not gaining anything. And it all comes down to reducing your stress in many different formats. And that's an angle that we can, make buyers aware of. And then if they already are aware, we can then plug in the product. The second workflow is going to be the creator pipeline. And what it's going to do essentially is it's going to source creators. Okay. And then it's going to qualify creators. Then it's going to create ready queue, first touch, and then it's going to monitor replies essentially. So the creator pipeline controller in this format is going to be one of the biggest things you can do for e-com. Now, if you're not into influencer marketing at all, you can skip this part, but I truthfully feel that to build brands, and the Bloom founder said this in one of his vlogs, the only way to really blow up as a brand in 2026 is to be a content house. You need to be a machine on content. And internally, it's really hard to produce the volume that we want to see without using external sources. And a lot of that's going to come from the creator pipeline. I think using influencers is the best of both worlds, because not only are you getting your product in front of brand new audiences' eyes through their pages, through TikTok Shop, but then additionally, you can use those assets if you work out a deal with them for your meta ads. It's really the best of both worlds. So how can we use a workflow to automate this? Because let's be honest, reaching out to creators is the biggest pain in the butt of all time. So this workflow, I will say, took me just about 2 weeks to really perfect in a way. Gave me a lot of problems, but when you build it out correctly, where it's sourcing creators based on what you're looking for. So I am using kind of the Hudson method for our brand. So we are going after under 50K followers, GMV just around $1,000 a month, really micro influencers. So you need to guardrail the agent that's going to be doing that. So it sources them through either Kalo data or even the free method of the Seller Central Find Creators backend. And then it needs to qualify them. So you need another agent to qualify through, we use Airtable, you can use Excel, Google Sheets, whatever. And then it puts them into the ready queue. If they fit the match, there's no duplicates in your spreadsheet. They go to the ready queue and they get that outreach DM and it automates it. So we have just a staple DM that's pretty standard that goes to almost every single creator right away. And then that's the first touch. Then you need to have it monitor replies. And this is where I will say it was a struggle to get it work, but get it to read the replies. And how I built it, it could be other ways to do this better, is once you get those replies, make categories, and it needs to have intent of what the AI agent is reading. If they say, awesome, I'm interested, tell me more about your brand, you don't want to just be like, awesome, we'll send you an invite. You want it to understand what they're asking and reply appropriately. I have all replies as the first approval phase for our brand. So it comes to me in a cron, 4 times a day, tells me all the replies that we get, and I approve of messages that it drafted out for it, and if not, we go from there. When you get these creators, you want to build a community. You want to have a separate Discord with them, talking to them, giving them winning formats that's already worked for your brand through hooks, through pain points, whatever the case may be. That's where the content signal machine comes into play, because it's always going to feed that information to your creators, because ultimately these are micro influencers. You want to help these influencers get the next step, because they're going to see success and the brand gets success. And then lastly, which kind of sums these together as the third workflow I would build, it's going to be the founder feedback. But what it's going to do is it's going to read your Shopify store, understand the content that is driving revenue, understand your creators that you're working with. It's going to read your inbox, and you're going to get a operator brief, this is what I call it, on a daily level. And then founder decision. The job of this workflow essentially is to not make decisions for us as founders, but it's going to suppress the noise across the business. There's so many moving signals, and it's the one thing I learned when running a business. There's so many things going on, but when the founder needs to make big boy decisions, executive decisions, you want to have good context. You want to understand what's going on, what's working, what's not working, and this is what's going to help you get there. This is going to prevent dashboard checking. This is going to prevent, missing handoffs from other people. It's really going to kind of be an overseer of all things that are working. So it's going to be, everyone's is going to be a little bit different, but you want to tie it to all of your channels that are growing and just channels you're working on in general, and have it monitor. And every single day, mine hits at 6 a.m. every single day. It gives me a fresh update. What's going on? What needs approval? What it suggests it change. I have my and by the way, mine is strapped to Hermes agent, but I have my agent act as the CEO and I'm the founder. So it talks to me like if it's talking to a board essentially. And it's important that it gives its own strategic advice, pushback, especially because it has so much data that it understands. But if you can build any type of feedback system to your workflows from a high level, you're going to see a lot of improvements. So ultimately, these three all tie together, but they're the most important workflows, in my opinion, that's going to cover what you need. You're going to have your content signal machine, which is going to be getting everything that you need research-wise, from pain points to brand personas to buyer states to everything. Articles that you can use in landing pages. You can have it dump in a weekly file, and then those files can be also used into the second workflow. You can have it where it gives an output to your creator pipelines. You can literally message your Discord and be like, look, these are the latest foundings that we found, or these hooks worked for these 3 videos and these 3 hooks did not work for these 3 videos. It's just giving you a step in the right direction advantage over any other brand. And then lastly, the founder readback brief is going to kind of tie everything together in all channels that you're doing with your brand, not necessarily just the content pipeline or the creator pipeline, but More importantly, if you have meta ads, it's going to give you updates on that. If you're working on retail, it's going to give you updates on that by reading the inboxes. There's a lot of things that you need to get feedback on. And us as founders would love to automate a lot of these workflows that take time, but really don't need a ton of brain power. They need to just help us understand where we're at in the process. This is going to do that for you. And I want to make this video brief, so I'm not going to break down these anymore, but I absolutely can. If anyone wants me to break down each workflow in-depthly, I can even share how the file system of our OS works for each of these pipelines, because I do think that they're very important and they can hopefully help you as a founder.